there you have it. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning on the 24th of April. Folks, we've got a big problem. It could all come crashing down for President Trump. President Trump is in big trouble. Everything that he has worked on for the last 7 years and more, it's all on the verge of collapse if he doesn't listen to Tom Z. This is weighing very seriously on me. I felt like I had to come on here on a Sunday morning. I got to hurry because it's a church day, but we're going to try to sort this out. I hope that we can. We're going to be relying on your help to do so, but it's very, very, very serious. So let's get started.
I hear the sweet sound of freedom, and I won't be long.
All right, tongue-in-cheek award, alert rather, that goes to the tongue-in-cheek here. Please like, please share, please subscribe. If you are one of the 2 or 3 people left that actually see this on Facebook because of all the squelching and all the stuff, please leave a comment. Would you do that? And please share it. I'm going to ask you in a few minutes if you did that. But we've got Pennsylvania, New Hampshire on the line. Hi, Melody. Hi, Pamela. And I'm going to be talking about something that relates to Ohio, but please stay tuned because we're talking about a Senate race and it has implications for the country. And so let me just jump right in. I think it was Tuesday or one day last week, I did a takedown. We have a GOP Senate race going on and a primary coming up on May 3rd. And I did what I think, I was a little tired and bleary-eyed, but I think I did a pretty fair job of going through all the candidates. I let the cat out of the bag that I was supporting JD Vance. I don't know if the president had endorsed JD at that time, but if not, he did shortly after. Some people agree with me, some don't. And it's okay if you don't agree with me. And that is what we're going to talk about. So it's interesting. I'm talking about Ohio and I got Michigan and Canada, Pennsylvania here. So I'm just going to jump in. And this, okay, so this is, I'm going to play a clip. And this is, and listen, I'm gonna reference many things that were said and recorded on a recent podcast by Tom Zawistowski. I think I'm saying that right, Tom Z. Tom Z heads up WeThePeopleConvention.org. Tom, I admire what you do. I respect what you do. Tom, you are way better at managing a website. I don't even count, but you manage a website really well. I get your push notifications, your text notifications. Many times on this program, I've referenced an article that came to me first through your push notifications. So I admire you. And I hope that when all this is over, because I don't think things are going to go the way you want them to go over the next 10 days, I hope that you will take a chill pill, that you will rest up, and that you will relax and come back refreshed and encouraged, because we need you in the fight. But I'm going to really disagree with some things that you said. And so we have more Canadians on there. All right. So let me just see if I can set it up this way, because I really want to get, well, no, I'm going to play the clip right now, because this is really, if it wasn't for this clip, I'm not sure I'd been doing this. Anyway, here we're going to play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
That is not anti-Trump. That, I said, the headline of this said, President Trump, you may think we are your enemy, but we are in fact your best allies. And we sure as hell are. And if you want to be president again, you damn well better listen. You better figure this out.
Okay, that's pretty serious. Okay, I don't use expletives. I've been delivered from that, thank the Lord. And that's why I even got to use the little stars in the title. So Tom of We the People Convention is lecturing President Donald Trump that if he doesn't listen to Tom, that he blank well better listen. And then he reiterates that as he go a little further into that podcast, or else Ron DeSantis is going to be the next president. Ron DeSantis was endorsed by President Trump. Tom, that is never going to happen. Ron DeSantis, if President Trump is running, and I don't think it's going to play out that way. I think earlier things going to happen, but nonetheless, if it did play out that way, Ron DeSantis is not going to get crosswise of President Trump, who can draw 70, 80,000 people with just a little bit of prearranging, who has built Truth Social, who has been through all of that. But I'm not even going to talk about the anointing and the purpose of it. But Tom, that's not going to happen. But Tom wasn't done. So let me play this other clip. and then we're going to kind of talk just a wee bit more. Bear with me. And now, here's one thing you might not know, everybody. President Trump didn't get elected by himself. Actually, he had nothing to do with it. President Trump, it was irrelevant to the election process in 2016. You're going to hear from the person that single-handedly, with the organization that he heads up, that is single-handedly responsible for President Trump being president in 2016. I didn't know this. You probably didn't know this either, but now you're going to know, and we're all going to be in the know, so to speak. Let's go.
And I tried to explain to them that we were here long before President Trump, and President Trump was elected because of us, not because of him. He was just the vehicle, okay, that carried forward what we wanted. And we love him, and I love no one. I'm telling you right now, there are few people in this country who would work so hard to make President Trump the president. Literally, okay? And I can prove that if you want to write to me, I'll explain it to you. But he isn't president of the United States without what the We the People Convention did in Ohio, and particularly in Northeast Ohio in 2016.
I didn't know that. I thought President Trump won the election because he's President Trump. I thought it was because he campaigned like a banshee. So let me get serious here for a second. I wasn't a Trump supporter early on. I was a Ted Cruz guy. Now, when I realized that Ted Cruz was not going to win the nomination, I knew that I would vote for the nominee. And when President Trump, then nominee Trump, got the nomination, I'm on board. But in August of 2016, I got to say, when I started seeing 4 or 5 rallies a day in different states, I'll tell you what caught my attention was work ethic. I used to speak for about 5 years. I was a speaker, and I did junior high and high school assemblies. And then I would do nighttime evangelistic rallies. We did an event one time in Morgantown area, West Virginia. I did like 14 school assemblies and then nighttime things in the space of 5 days. And that takes a lot of energy when you're in your 30s, which I was. And I tell you what, you got to have a lot of energy when it's just you and a microphone and 200 kids or 1,000 kids or 500 kids. And it takes a lot of energy. Well, President Trump gets up in front of tens of thousands of people, and people just hang on every word, and he'd do it 4 or 5 times a day. I began to be won over. So I thought that had something to do with it. I thought his message and his ability to communicate and connect had something to do with it. But I was wrong, because the reason that President Trump won the 2016 election was because of Tom Z and We the People. I didn't know that. Did you know that? Did anybody else know that? So that puts things in perspective, because I listened to the audio. No, we didn't. For some reason, the tickets to that Trump event didn't come to us, and it was just an oversight. We weren't slighted. My wife and I said, okay, we're going to put the top down on the Mustang, and we drove through beautiful Ohio countryside to the Amish store to stock up against the future Biden hunger strike or food shortages coming the way. But I did listen to it, and when President Trump was relating the story about how he convinced the Mexican president to put 28,000 Mexican military on the border, now I understand how he did it. Because the Mexican president's first inclination would have been to laugh at President Trump, but then he saw through President Trump, and he saw Tom Z and We the People, and he got afraid, and he said, absolutely. And that's how the president was able to get NATO to pony up. Because when he first was talking to Angela Merkel, and she was saying, the budget is not the problem, then she looked through President Trump, and she saw Tom Z and she, oh, wait a minute, it's Tom Z and We the People. They're the ones that elected him. And so that that just puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? And I'm glad I know that, because I didn't know that before. Okay, we're going to keep going. Now, this is so President Trump on Good Friday calls J.D. Vance and says we're gonna endorse you, and then what you're looking at is a press release, several in. But here's one thing that I wanted to do, and Tom, I apologize, man, but this is like almost the latest press release trying to bully President Trump into pulling his endorsement of J.D. Vance. It has come to my attention that President Trump is very unhappy with that Tom Z guy. I want you to read, if you can see it on the screen, Ohio candidates at Saturday's rally in exchange for them endorsing Vance. So that's in all caps with an exclamation point. An exclamation point. Did I say exclamation point? And then you read down to the last sentence of that paragraph. You are the one who taught us that the elections were rigged. Please don't do the one doing the rigging. Exclamation point. Exclamation point. Folks, I'm not very good at English, not very good at writing, but that might be a little bit overuse of the exclamation point. Now, this was in the same, it's in the interest of your advisors to, okay, so he's in, what Tom is trying to say is that President Trump only has these advisors that don't give him good advice and they want to insulate him from the truth and relating to their base. I just wanted to read this sentence that was in about the end of the second paragraph. Tell me if you think this is a little bit arrogant. There has literally been no way from the minute you came down the escalator until this very minute for grassroots leaders across this nation who elected you twice to get a message to you, let alone be included in your decision-making process, let alone be included in your decision-making process. What do y'all think? Is that just a wee bit reaching over your skis? Is that just a wee, come on, Tom. He's not going to include you in his decision-making process. You're ever been out, I understand you got a lot of high-tech skills. If a client hires you, don't they hire you to do what you know how to do? Or do you want somebody that's going to be like looking over your shoulder, micromanaging? That's not how it works. I'm not going to be part of President Trump's decision-making process, but I'm not going to be so arrogant as to be chafing about it. He made a decision without even consulting me. Now, folks, we're still about to get into the heart of the matter, but I'm going to get to this. Now, listen, this is a big argument that Tom Z makes, but you're going to find out that it totally falls apart. Let me play the clip.
Okay. And
okay.
If you go to WeThePeopleConvention.org, you'll see this image under articles. And actually, there's a button right on the front page you can click that says, why we're not supporting President Trump's endorsement. But on there, it'll show that J.D. Vance was recruited by Mitch McConnell. Not my words. There's an article. McConnell reaches out to Vance to run for Senate. And our question to President Trump is, why are you endorsing people that Mitch McConnell wants?
Okay, this is where this completely, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just kind of going to glance at comments here for a second. And I want to say hi to Susan because she attended the rally in Geneva, Ohio. Okay, very good, very good. Cheryl is asking, who's Tom? Tom's a good guy, but Tom heads up, I guess, a group called We the People Convention. I get push notifications all the time, but I want to get back to this. I want to get back to this slide because in his opposition to J.D. Vance, Tom is trying to make the argument that J.D. Vance was recruited by Mitch McConnell, and we all hate Mitch McConnell, and we got to defeat Mitch McConnell. We don't want Mitch McConnell to be Senate leader. I don't want him to be Senate leader, okay? But the argument that Tom is making is completely specious. It completely falls apart. He says if you go to his website, WeThePeopleConvention.org, you can click on the article. Well, here is the smoking article. And it says McConnell reaches out to hillbilly elegy author about Senate run. Now, here is the thing, folks. First, there's about three things that cause this argument of Tom's to completely fall apart. One, look at the date here. This article is dated January 9th, 2018. So what's up with that? So its relevance to 2022, do the math, okay? He's citing a 4-year-old article. Now, what else is there about this article? I'm going to blow this up so I can read it, all right? In the article, in the second paragraph, well, let me back up earlier than that. It says that at the last sentence of the first paragraph says that, well, let me read the first sentence. Since Majority Leader McConnell has spoken to hillbilly elegy author J.D. Vance about a potential run for Senate in Ohio following GOP candidate Josh Mandel's unexpected departure from the race last week, a source familiar with the call confirmed to CNN. So a couple things. First of all, it's a CNN article. So go in very skeptical and take everything with a grain of salt. And then they're citing a source. Who is that source? Of course, it's just a source. But then even according to that's a CNN article with a source, Read this, the last sentence of the second paragraph. The call was described as a conversation rather than a pitch to run, and the source said Vance appeared to be taking it in at this point and contemplating whether he could make a real difference in the race. So, Tom, Mitch McConnell did not call and coerce or recruit J.D. Vance into running for Senate. He talked to him about somebody running for Senate, maybe him, but it was not a recruiting call, according to the very article that you state. And what else was going on? What really precipitated the call? Well, I'm going to show you. See that little picture there of Josh Mandel? Well, here's what was going on. In 2018, Sherrod Brown was trying to get elected or reelected, and his biggest and most threatening GOP opponent was Josh Mandel. However, early January of 2018, look, the Ohio Republican Josh Mandel is dropping his bid to unseat Democrat Senate Sherrod Brown, citing a health issue his wife was facing. I don't know what that health issue was, but evidently Josh Mandel's wife was facing something very, very serious. And Josh Mandel, and kudos to him, felt that his priority was to be there for his wife and for his family. So put this in perspective then, ladies and gentlemen. And Tom, do this. And you already know, okay, if you don't know this, then you didn't read the article. And then if you read the article, then what you're saying is just is completely disingenuous. I'm stopping short of a certain word that I want to use. So you've got a Senate race going on. Now, let me ask you a question, folks. If you are a Mitch McConnell fan, please type in the comments, yes. If you're not, type in no. But I will say this. I don't want Mitch McConnell to be Senate leader. I don't want him. I don't like Mitch McConnell. But this I can definitely say. I like him a lot less. I like him a lot less than I did in 2018. In 2018, I just thought of him as a turtle, okay? Now I think of him as a turtle that I do not want to be turtle leading the Senate. But he was the majority leader at the time. All right. So there is a Senate race going on in Ohio, and your top person that you're rooting for has to drop out due to family concerns. What are you going to do? Nothing. That'd be irresponsible. Maybe you make some calls, test the water, see what's going on, because you really want a Republican to get that seat and take it away from Sherrod Brown. So there's nothing wrong with making that call. And Tom, I'll go this far. If in 2018, if I'd have gotten a call from Mitch McConnell and I saw an 859 area code beeping in, who is this? And it says, hey, it's Mitch McConnell. I mean, I would have said, how you doing, Mitch? We just finished waxing the Mustang. I got some turtle wax left over. Do you want some? I would have taken the call. If Mitch McConnell, he wouldn't, but if he called me, what am I going to do? So if he had a staffer said, Everett, Mitch McConnell's office, he'd like to speak with you. I'm going to say, no, and hang up the phone. I would take his call. Tom, if Mitch McConnell called you, you would take his call. It doesn't prove anything. Maybe Cheryl says Mitch needs to go. Folks, I really want to make this point. So let me keep rolling here. But what I'm saying, Tom, the fact that Mitch McConnell called 4 years ago, J.D. Vance, it doesn't prove anything. It doesn't mean anything. But you're citing as though he recruited J.D. Vance. That completely falls apart, Tom, and you know better. You need to do better. That's just, it just falls apart. Now, I don't know what, Tom, come on, dude. Just chill out a little bit. Thank you for all that you do. But at the end of the day, you're just another one of us. All right. But listen to this, folks. This just really shocked me.
J.D. Vance has not spoken, to my knowledge, to any Trump group in Ohio in this whole campaign. Until just yesterday, he's never talked to me. He tried to call me. Okay? Why wouldn't you want to talk to me? If you're a Trump guy, why wouldn't you want to be supported by the people who supported Trump?
Okay, well, oh, so Tom, what? Somebody can't run for office unless they talk to you first? And then you also say that he hasn't talked to any Trump groups. I was at it. I'm going to later today, I am going to post a 38-minute video that I shot from a JD Vance town hall. I shot it with the little hand cam, not too shaky, did pretty good, but the audio is really good. You can actually hear his positions, and I encourage everybody and challenge everybody, find a hole in his positions. I mean, he's the only one that talks about that the cartels should be designated terrorist organizations. I've never heard anybody else say that except me 3 years ago. It sounds like I'm, but that's one reason I really relate to it. Why do we go to Afghanistan for 20 years and accomplish nothing except harming and our young men and women and leaving $85 billion in Christmas presents to the Taliban when we have hundreds of thousands of people that are dying in this country every year due to fentanyl and all the other things that are related to the cartels being involved in human trafficking and all of this, when we have a military that could make that stop immediately? He's the only one saying that, but I lose my train, but I digress. But my point is, I'm going to post that later. But Tom, you say he hadn't talked to any Trump. Every person in that room was a Trump person, Tom. But what, they have to talk to you first? They have to get your permission first? I got news for you, Tom. You and I have to face the same reality that longtime establishment GOP leaders have to face. You don't own anything. You don't own the people. I don't own the people. They don't own the people. People are free to speak and think and vote the way they want to. And the person that just decided to get involved yesterday, 6 months ago, a year ago, their voice is just as valid as mine or yours that have been at this for a while. Okay, now, another big problem that Tom has with, so we blew apart that argument that Mitch McConnell, the turtle, recruited JD Vance. Even in the very article that Tom states, it doesn't prove his point. So we've destroyed that. That's garbage. That's wrong. It's trash. Mitch McConnell did not recruit JD Vance. He is not, JD Vance is not owned by Mitch McConnell. All right. He's not part owner in the turtle wax factory. All right. Then the other argument that Tom makes at that he's bought and paid for by big tech billionaires. Well, here is the truth. Peter Thiel donated to us after, and it happened after Trump's endorsement, President Trump's endorsement, donated, I think, $1.3 million. Maybe it's more than that, but he donated to a super PAC that is supporting JD Vance. And that is supposed to be terrible because now JD Vance is owned by Peter Thiel, Well, let me just say a few things about Peter Thiel. All right. First of all, Thiel, PayPal founder launches tirade against gerontocracy over Bitcoin. What's that all about? About 10 days ago, Peter Thiel gave a historic barn burner speech, not an eloquent speaker, but at a Bitcoin convention. And he talks about a finance gerontocracy, really took on Warren Buffett and the gerontocracy finance class and big banks and Fed. And so that's where he's coming from, Mr. Tom. And in the article, it says, comparing Bitcoin with conventional capitalism, he said to Applause, woke companies are sort of quasi-controlled by the government in a way that Bitcoin will never be. Peter Thiel is a billionaire, and he's against woke corporations. He's against that. He's against the finance gerontocracy. I guess the real problem that Tom has with Peter Thiel is that he's a billionaire. Tom, guess what? There are billionaires on the planet, and we have to peacefully coexist. And I went through all 19 minutes of your podcast, and you openly state that you love President Trump. News flash, Tom, President Trump is a billionaire. So according to your own value set and logic, someone being a billionaire does not disqualify them from being somebody that you want to be aligned with. And it certainly doesn't mean that JD Vance is owned by Peter Thiel. Now let's read the rest of that highlighted sentence. Thiel, 54, is the most high-profile Trump supporter in the tech industry, having donated millions of dollars to Trump's 2016 campaign and served on the ex-president's transition team. So this is a billionaire that on the record has supported President Trump, was on his transition team and supported him heavily in 2016. And you have a problem with somebody like that supporting a Senate candidate? I'm going to just kind of back off a little bit, see if I have any more. Let me see. Mitch and Trump don't get Exactly. But Tom's on there. Why would you endorse somebody that's owned by Mitch McConnell? That's not the truth. Okay, I'm going to keep my little thing going. I just wanted to get this out there, get it over. And Tom, I don't even want to be doing this, man. But brother, you jump so far over your skis. Honestly, it's a little bit embarrassing. So here we go. I'm going to stick with it. The title of this slide is Tom, who did you said that to? This is going to get embarrassing, folks. I apologize. All right. So this is a press release that came out on the 15th from We the People. And it was penned by Tom Z at WeThePeopleConvention.org. WTPC calls on Trump to withdraw endorsement of J.D. Vance for Senate. Now, first of all, on its face, that's laughable. Tom, the president, and I'm going to show proof of it, is not going to withdraw his endorsement. And not every endorsement has been one that I liked or agreed with. He's withdrawn one from Mo Brooks because Mo Brooks just went soft and doesn't want to, says we need to move on from 2020. I think he did the right thing. All right. But he's not going to withdraw that endorsement from J.D. Vance. But now here's what I want to point out, folks. If any of you English teachers and communications majors out there have an opinion, I'd like to know what it is. So it's dated the 15th of April, Akron, Ohio. Tom Z, president of We the People, responded, and it says, Zawistaki said, it looks like President Trump is still listening to the same establishment advisors who staffed his administration with rhinos, blah, blah, blah. Here's my issue with this. Tom, Zawistaki said, who did you said that to? Who is it? Who did you said that to? Did you say that at a speech? And this is a quote from that speech. Did you say that to the governing board of WeThePeopleConvention.org? And then somebody captured it or recorded it or wrote it down that you said that? Because, and folks, this is embarrassing. I have had to write press releases or media information, like for speaking things that I did or whatever. But one thing I don't think I ever did. I sure didn't want to do it. I never wanted to quote myself as though I was talking to somebody else when it was just me talking to myself. Okay. It's cheesy. Tom, it sounds like you're quoting yourself when you're drinking too many beers, yelling at the television. I'm sorry, that's just the way that it comes off. And then look at the second paragraph. Zawistaki concluded the pushback in Ohio. Tom, who did you said that to? If you didn't said it to somebody, if you only said it to yourself, then please don't say that. It's cheesy. And I don't want to be doing this because I appreciate most of the stuff you do. I want to look at Tom's endorsement of Mike Gibbons. Second paragraph, he's pro-family, pro-life, pro-jobs, pro-business, pro-parent rights, pro-gun, pro-free speech, pro-religious freedom, pro-Trump, pro-MAGA, and anti-illegal immigration, anti-CRT, anti-big government, anti-government mandates, anti-deficit spending, and anti-socialism. Tom, that's all wonderful. That's absolutely powerful. That's amazing. But guess what? That describes virtually every candidate that's running for the Senate in Ohio right now, except Dolan. Maybe he's soft on guns. He thinks we ought to have red flag. That describes everybody. And then the other thing that he goes on to say is that Mike Gibbons is the only person that has the financial wherewithal to see his campaign all the way through. So unless you are in a position financially that you can finance your own campaign, don't even bother running, because Tom's not going to support you, because we can only support people that are wealthy enough to finance their own campaigns. And the reason, the logic that he gives is he can't be bought. Hogwash, Tom. How many people you know have a lot of money and all they think about is making a lot more money? if just because you have a lot of money means you can't be bought, explain Nancy Pelosi to me, please. But see, that doesn't work. Now, since we're on the subject of Mike Gibbons, okay, Mike's pro all the things that everybody else is pro and anti all the things that everybody else is anti. If you watch the debates, Tom, Mike Gibbons, and I say this respectfully, he cannot articulate himself out of a wet sack. And I'm sorry to say that. Maybe one-on-one making these big deals that he made, maybe he's very effective. But when he has to communicate to a group of people, he, in the process of not saying anything, right in the middle of it, he will, I don't know if he forgets where he is or what. He didn't close the deal. He simply didn't close the deal. And Mandel and he disqualified themselves with their chest bumping exercise. Folks, I'm going to try to bring this to a close. We still got a little bit of meat I got to go through. But Gibbons just hadn't closed the deal. I'm sorry. So one of the things that Tom insisted would happen, because people are so upset and they didn't talk to Tom and they didn't get his permission to run, was that all these people would boo for J.D. Vance when the president introduced J.D. Vance at the rally that happened yesterday in Delaware. I'm going to play that. I'm going to make a couple comments over, and this program is finished, but I want you to listen carefully for the boo factor.
It's all about winning. We have no choice. We have to win. We have to fight. They fight very dirty, very dirty. They used COVID in order to cheat in the election by sending millions and millions and millions of fake ballots all over the place. Nobody knew what the hell was happening. Some houses got many, many ballots. I won't say how many because they'll say, how do you know that? Many, many people. I could say in this audience, but of course this audience would have far fewer. If I went to another audience, almost everybody would raise their hand. That's why I'm very pleased to introduce the man with by far the best chance to defeat the radical Democrat nominee for the U.S. Senate this November.
Listen for the boos.
You know what? He's a guy that said some bad shit about me.
What are you going to say?
He did. But you know what? Every one of the others did also. In fact, if I went by that standard, I don't think I would have ever endorsed anybody in the country. You want to know?
Listen for the boos.
Bad, but they all came back. But I will tell you, he was tough, but the others were tough, and a lot of them said some really bad things. And ultimately, I put that aside.
I'm listening for boos.
He's been incredible in the last period of time, long period of time.
Where's the boos?
And so have the others, for the most part. I guess in all cases, the others. But I have to do what I have to do. We have to pick somebody that can win. And this guy he's tough, he's smart, he's a former Marine. He's a Yale-educated lawyer, a great student, went to Yale.
I'm listening for boos.
Degree. He's a great student. He's a fearless MAGA fighter. He fights like crazy, and he loves Ohio, and he's a great Buckeye. So what I'd like to do is ask J.D.
I'm listening for the boos, folks.
Come forward. I want to pick somebody that's going to win, and this man is going to win. Come on up, J.D.
I'm listening for boos.
Ohio. Do we love this guy? Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, all I'll say is it is time to send Republicans who know what time it is. We've got big tech censoring conservatives. We've got a crazy fake president who will buy energy from Putin and the scumbags of Venezuela, but won't buy it from middle-class Ohioans. We've got a ridiculous leadership, even on the Republican side, that tries to undo some of the best things that Donald Trump did over the past 4 years, things that no other president has done. It is time to send people who know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm running for Senate, and that's why we're going to win and take this state back. Now, the president is right. I wasn't always nice, but the simple fact is he's the best president of my lifetime, and he revealed the corruption in this country like nobody else.
I'm listening for boos. There's a good spot. It's kind of dead. There'd be a good time to boo, but I didn't hear any boos.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce again the Republican who knows what time it is, the best president of my lifetime, the great Donald J. Trump.
I think that went pretty successfully. I'm going to conclude with this right here. Here we go.
I don't want people to be senators for life, but the system is that rigged now. And President Trump, you're making it worse.
Can you get your voice a little higher there, Tom? Okay. So
It's called constructive criticism. I'm not against you, Mr. President. I'm for you. I'm trying to help you. Listen. If not, DeSantis is going to be the candidate, not Donald Trump.
there you have it, folks. There you have it. Hey, please do me a favor. Please share this. Share this. Look, this man, Mr. Vance, I got to shake his hand. Got to enjoy being out there. And I'm all in. I'm supporting, and I just wanted to bring this out. Tom, come on, man. Don't get over your skis. Don't jump the shark. You do a lot of good stuff. But man, please don't make arguments that you can't support. You did not support your argument about being McConnell recruited. You did not support your argument about being in the pocket of big tech billionaires. And then you want to criticize JD Vance because he's 38 years old, because he could potentially be there a long time. So what? Now we start setting like the window of times that people can run. It's just crazy like this, folks. It's church day. We got to run. It's beautiful. We're going to get some more Mustang convertible with the top down in today. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Thanks for that's always good. I say thanks for putting up with me, but I believe this man here, JD Vance, I believe he's going to be the senator from Ohio, and I believe he's going to fully support President Trump. And guess what? President Trump is not in trouble. He's not in trouble at all. All right. Having said that, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the state of Ohio, and God bless the United States of America.
I hear the sweet sound of freedom.